Hi, I'm Vaughn Palmer, out behind the BC Legislature with my colleague Rob Shaw to talk about the week in BC politics. New government, still pretty active on the active front. And Rob, we just heard the Premier, well, we heard him over the telephone anyway, giving a speech to the Union of BC Municipalities.
Yeah, the first kind of big address to municipal leaders by the Horgan government, some more money for overdose prevention, some questions about what he's going to do on the housing situation. No answers yet on that, and kind of an introduction to the municipal leaders for the new NDP administration, which Vaughn has been there all week, and according to Horgan, enjoyed communicating with the local mayors as opposed to the Liberals, who under Christy Clark didn't really view UBCM as a big deal on their calendar.
No, the previous Liberal leader, Gordon Campbell, worked with UBCM carefully, and he always went with a big bag of goodies to the convention. Clark seemed to spend most of her time picking fights with them on things. So Horgan obviously was going to be welcomed. Also, next year is local government election year. A lot of these local leaders are looking for, as you say, provincial assistance on dealing with issues like marijuana legalization, housing affordability. I notice Horgan is promoting these modular housing units to help deal with the homeless. In fact, I guess he's got one set up at Robson Square in Vancouver, and people can go look at that.
This was something that was in the budget, more than 2,000 modular homeless housing units spread across the province with the money to operate them through BC Housing in future years. Liberal MLA Ralph Sultan was doing some math on this in the last week in the legislature and pointing out the enormous amount of money, hundreds of millions, that this is going to cost to operate these homeless temporary housing shelters. But they found the money for it in the first budget, Vaughn, and it's there.
Yeah, the other thing that, Horgan got into this in his media conference, but let's back up and get the story out there first. There was a headline on your story in The Sun this week where the NDP was said to be sickening, and it wasn't one of the Liberals saying it. It was John Horgan's partner in power sharing, Andrew Weaver, that said the NDP and John Horgan were sickening the issue.
Well, there was strong words from Andrew Weaver, but the issue is essentially the way the NDP have staffed dozens and dozens of jobs here at the legislature, ministerial assistants, communications people. Quite often, under the Liberals, those were partisan appointments for failed election candidates, party friends, insiders, cronies, however you want to say it. And the issue is that John Horgan scored cheap political points off the Liberals for criticizing this for years, Vaughn, when they would hire their defeated candidates. And now we look at John Horgan's hires, and it includes a defeated NDP candidate from 2013.
But she's qualified.
But she's qualified according to the NDP. So it's become an issue of, did John Horgan score cheap points off the Liberals, saying he was going to do something differently and then do it the same? And that's what led Andrew Weaver to say he felt that it was hypocritical, sickening, the worst of provincial politics happening all over again with a new party in power. Actually, I was surprised at how strong the words were.
And Horgan says he's disappointed. And Andrew, you should have come and talked to me first.
Well, the NDP defense is they did a merit-based hiring system, which just so happens, after hundreds of interviews, to have hired the party's director of digital operations, canvassers in the NDP. The explanation is ludicrous. However, the NDP are a bit under fire on it.
Some days the most effective critic of the NDP government is the Green Party, I have to say still. Meanwhile, the actual opposition of the province, the BC Liberals, have a leadership race going, and the candidate count is already up to what, 7?
7. With 8, I think we're expecting Todd Stone to announce in the next few weeks. Front runners, Vaughn, in your mind over the last week, who do you think is a big front runner?
Well, everybody's shooting at Diane Watts, the former mayor of Surrey and federal Tory MP, so I guess they think she's got a pretty good shot at it. Andrew Wilkinson, I thought, had a fairly strong launch with a lot of MLAs. He's from the west side of Vancouver, but a lot of the people he had supporting him are from all over the province. Stone, I think, has a good campaign ready to go. He's just holding back. And who else would be strong? Mike DeYoung finished 4th last time. He might finish one higher than that at the moment, but it is actually wide open, in my opinion. What do you think?
It's a long race. I mean, it's not until February that they have the vote. I think Mike DeYoung, we spoke to him, Vaughn, he said he wanted to share the benefits of the economy to people. He's facing an uphill battle on that because as finance minister, he did not share the benefits of the budget.
True.
He had to say no to everyone on spending, so it's a big challenge for him. I think Wilkinson is addressing the flaws in what people perceive to be his elitist character as a doctor and a lawyer, and Oxford educated, and he's speaking about his rural roots, and he's come out pretty quickly, I think, to make some headlines. But the biggest headline so far has been from Todd Stone, when he promised that if he becomes leader, and he's not running yet, but when he becomes leader, he will not allow the party to take the per vote subsidy from taxpayers that the NDP have in their bill, and he's already made headlines with that so far.
Yeah, so New Democrats have a bill before the House that would give them $1 million on January the 1st and another $1 million next July 1st. The Liberals would be in line for the same thing. The Greens wouldn't get quite that much, but they would get some money as well from taxpayers. But yeah, Stone says he won't take the money. The other Liberals are kind of hedged. They say, well, they try to amend the legislation, and
it's a lot of money to give up.
It's a lot of money to give up. It's almost $12 million over 4 years. But it's interesting. It's a high-risk stand by Stone, but I think he's getting a lot of attention within the party for it.
Yeah, and we'll be back next week to talk to you about what's happening in BC politics.
Thanks for watching.